I apologize in advance if I have a coughing fit during this video. I'm going to try to make this really quick. Unfortunately, if I get a coughing fit, you may hear me drinking my coffee also because my throat is just a mess right now. Okay, in an effort to make this really quick, what you see here is a page from an old phone book. And the important part of this, the reason I'm showing you this, is because of these little indents right here. This entry right here in the phone book, you see, let's go up here to Ellen Brown and Ellis Brown and Elmer Brown and Emily Brown, Emerald, Emil. When you get down to Emmett Brown here, you're seeing that as they continue this information, they would put information about, uh, they would put his address continued like they did with some of these. But because of the length of his address and the length of his prefix for his phone number over here, they couldn't fit it all on one line. And so what they do in a situation like that is they use what's called a hanging indent. And a hanging indent is where the second line doesn't stick out as far as the first line. The first line sticks out farther. They do this because we're putting these in alphabetical order, and you're not going to be typically reading the phone book. You're looking for one specific piece of information. They want you to be able to quickly scan down the left side of the column so that you can see what you're looking for. So we're looking for somebody with the last name of Brown, and we could just easily scan down. We don't need this 1640 Riverside sticking out to the edge or even out farther that direction. That's going to confuse us. So that's how a list is alphabetized, typically with a hanging indent. That happens also when you look at a dictionary. You have the word definitely, and then all the information under it has a hanging indent where it actually sticks in, and the word itself, the thing that you would be looking up, sticks out to the margin. Everything else is indented a small amount. Okay, so let me back this up just a little bit and show you that in your human intelligence, your Unit 4 folder, there is a purple folder called Précis card, and it's the Précis card that we're going to do on intelligence. In that folder, there is a copy of the Mortensen research paper, and I'm going to try to make this happen really fast for you. Once it loads up for us, okay. So you do have this, you have access to it, but I want to show you that when we get to the works cited of this paper, and works cited is really important because it tells us what this document is. It is a list of the sources, that's what works are, sources, that are actually cited in the paper. That means that the author used information from that source and put a parenthetical citation, which we'll look at in a second. You'll notice that it has hanging indents. And it has hanging indents so that we can scan quickly down through alphabetical order and see what the different entries are. We have different categories of information. I don't want to go into that because we'll do this later. But you see authors' names, you see articles. However this thing is alphabetized, that's how it's going to show up here. And so you see the J, K, M, M, N, P, R, and that's because of alphabetical order. That's why we have the hanging indents. I want you to know that because we're going to need to look stuff up. Let's go back to the paper itself. Here is her text of her paper. She has an introductory paragraph. Now here is her first body paragraph. She has a topic sentence here, and she has citations. The first piece of information she used came from a source that she calls Nardo 13. That tells me that she is using the author, Nardo, and it came from page 13 of what's apparently his book. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to scroll way back down to here, and we're going to find Nardo. We scan down through. There's early alphabet. We go down to the ends in the alphabet, and there is Nardo. So we know she used that source. It's a book called Thomas Jefferson, published in San Diego by Lucid Books in 1993. And if you want to, you can go down to the North Canton Middle School Library and pull it right off the shelf because we have it here in our library. It tells us also that she got this information from page 13 of this book. Also in that paragraph, we're going to see the name Richards. We're going to see the name Sheridan. She used those books. That gave her some basic information, and it'll tell us the page numbers there as well. She's also going to use, even on the first page, a source called Jefferson and Architecture. So as we scroll back up to the top and look at the first page, here's that Nardo 13, and she uses that a few times. Here's the Richard source, and she took this information from page 3. There's the Sheridan source, and she took it. Now, this is a little bit different. Sheridan must have had some sort of an electronic source because it's telling us paragraph 8 instead of a page number. If that's supposed to be a page number. If it's not a page number, we need to tell what it is so that we're not confused by thinking that it's page number. Here's the one with Jefferson and architecture. There's one from paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 because I know that's an electronic source. Let's look all the way back down to this Sheridan source, and she indeed pulled that off electronically. You see that she got that on the web. It was from a magazine, but she didn't have the magazine in her hand. She looked it up online on Middle Search Plus, and that is how she found it. So ultimately, what we're doing here is I want you to see how these citations connect to the works cited itself. This is how we have to set it up to steer our readers from the citation itself to the specific entry that we wanted. And we're going to send them to the first piece of information. There will be more on this as we do the Noodle tools. The good news is she had a really, really long paper. She had 76 citations. She had 16 different sources because this was a full-blown research paper that we worked on for several weeks. Your research is only going to be a few days, maybe 2 days of research in writing your paragraph. You need to use a minimum of 2 sources. You need to have a minimum of 3 facts or 3 pieces of information that you take from those 2 sources. You're going to write a paragraph about it. You're going to have a works cited page, and you're also going to give us about a 1 to 2 minute presentation on that. So you don't have to do anything nearly this size, but this is a good illustration of how the whole thing fits together with your parenthetical citations and all the way down here to your works cited. Oh, I made it through without a coughing fit. That's awesome. See you soon.